All right, because I have no sort of structure to how I'm doing YouTube, also because I kind of want to document this journey that I'm trying to just figure out. I figured I would make another video because I made my very first video just talking about like, hey, this is kind of my idea, my sort of plan of getting onto YouTube. And so I kind of want to share an update. I don't know I don't know at what point this will be on my channel, because I filmed 2 videos today. Hopefully they turn out. I've just been kind of like going back to back to back. I've filmed one just kind of impromptu video. I was trying to work through something and immediately was just like, I should make a video on this. And I'm starting to notice those sorts of things where I'm like, oh, this is a weird thing that I'm doing. I should probably share this, you know? And so I'm starting, well, I think there's gonna be quite a bit of those sorts of videos where it's just like, hey, impromptu video. That might be a cool series to make, I don't know. But I did one of those videos and then I did another one talking through favorite apps and that sort of thing. But yeah, I kind of wanted to share a bit about like how I'm feeling about it all. So last week, I was going to film another video, which I don't even know I didn't even have anything planned. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna film a video. I told myself I'm going to, but I also wanted to film some videos for my photography business. I'm trying out this service where it kind of like is a help desk sort of thing, but it shows videos and you can make them quick and pertain to certain areas of where they are in your website and all that. Maybe I'll do a video on it if it does really well. I'm testing it out on one page right now, and I'm gonna give it some time and kind of like see how well it does. But anyway, oh, that service is called Chipbot, by the way, in case you were curious. I'll leave it in the description. But yeah, I wound up sitting down to record those videos because I was like, oh, instead of doing it on my iPhone, I'm gonna use it on my real camera, whatever, and record those videos. It'll be easy because all I'm gonna be doing is just like quickly talking about all the things that I normally talk about on you know, client meetings when I'm meeting new couples. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. Anyway, like what wound up happening, my cat wound up like bothering me at some point, and then the camera started failing, which I realized that it wound up being that it was something to do with my memory card. I honestly don't know how to do video. I'm just kind of just winging it. So I had to like troubleshoot that, and then, you know, I was doing multiple different takes, and anyway, it wound up taking the entire day. And by the end of the day, like my voice was just like hoarse, and I was like, there's absolutely no way. One, I didn't have the time to, but there was just like no way I was gonna even be able to like record anything else. It was bad. Then what else? Like, I'm trying to think of other breakthroughs that I've had. Another thing too is like recently, so I recently upgraded my photography camera, and I've never used video on it because I don't shoot video. But after upgrading, it left me with 3 cameras, and I don't need 3 cameras. I use 2 for the weddings that I do. I love this camera that I'm using right now. And so I was planning on selling this old camera because it is super old and I can't really get very much money for it. But it didn't occur to me until like a few days ago that I could actually probably, well, I don't know for sure, but I could actually set this up as like a camera to use as like a webcam, because right now I'm just using my iPhone for webcam type things, and maybe, you know, that camera could just serve as just like the desk area. and that sort of thing. I wouldn't want to use it for talking head videos like this, but anyway, that was the thing. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look into it. So I need to buy a different, like a HDMI, certain HDMI cable. I already downloaded the software to stream it to my computer because I don't want to have to deal with memory card stuff. And then I need to look into like a battery, fake battery sort of situation. I don't know. It's not a priority, but it was just like oh, this is a cool realization. I also need to, like, I don't want to, and I keep fighting like the fact that like I don't want to have to spend money, you know, and I'm trying to like make things work, i.e. why I'm like, oh, I could use that camera as a webcam. But like a actual tripod, I wound up buying a cheap one that was just mainly made for iPhone because I thought I would be using iPhone only to do these videos. And I don't know, I kind of like doing these talking head things with my real camera. And so anyway, I do not like the fact that my expensive ass Nikon ZF is on this very, like, I just don't want it to fall. It's super cheap, especially if I've got the cats in the bedroom right now, but if they like had their like zoomies at some point, they would knock this over and like my life would just be shattered. And so I need to invest in an actual tripod. I do have one, but I don't know where the plate is to it and I can't find a replacement for it. So there's that. Another realization I had was I've been kind of like looking around on YouTube of like just inspiration and how-tos and that sort of thing. Like I haven't even began to scratch the surface with like editing and all that. Like I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing and I need to find a system to be able to get quicker at it. But I did come across somebody who was like talking about how having a wider lens on their camera makes them feel less, like makes them feel more at ease when they're talking. And before, like when the very first video and then like those other videos I was doing last week, I had my 50 millimeter, which is a little bit of a portrait lens, like a little bit longer. And I was having to talk to the camera like really, really far away. And I don't know why, like I felt more anxiety with that. And I don't even know why I didn't use this lens right now earlier, but that clicked. I was like, oh, like I do have a wider lens that I could be using. Like, why am I not using this? So I put it on today and I feel much more comfortable. Like it actually feels like, I don't have my phone with me, but like it feels like I'm doing an Instagram story. It's weirdly enough, like I don't see the camera as much. I'm more so like seeing through the camera and I don't feel as anxious. And so that was a cool realization. I didn't put on my wider lens before because my area is just a mess. Like this is not aesthetic whatsoever. And so I knew more of my like mess would be in the shot. And now I'm just like, you know, it doesn't bother. Like it's fine. Like I just want to be more comfortable in front of the camera at the end of the day. And so, so that was another cool realization that I had recently. Another realization, but something that's still kind of just been in the back of my mind, has just been being easier on myself. So, and this has been like a constant struggle. Like I've always been hard on myself, and just put a lot of shame on myself, I would say, and just treating myself terribly. And yeah, saying bad things to myself, and like it's been like a constant struggle. And so this past year, like I've been really doing well with being much more positive and like seeing the positive aspects rather than the negative of like things that happen, because things do happen. And so I'm trying to do 2 days a week of filming, and that's just because I have 2 certain days where I know I'm going to be alone, and I just don't want to have to deal with the anxiety of people being in another room and me talking like this to a camera, but also too just like the interruptions and that sort of thing. And so anyway, like I wasn't able to film on Tuesday. My son has been sick and he's fine now. He's doing well. But everything just got like thrown out the window. And I just started from scratch today, of just like figuring it out. Honestly, this morning I didn't want to film, and I think it was just because I've just been so burnt out with like, you know, taking care of, I mean, it wasn't just me taking care of him, but like when things happen and things change, like I just don't do well with transition, and I think it's, you know, my ADHD, but I just don't do well with transition, and it just sucks the energy out of me. And this morning I didn't want to do it, but I just started and it's been fine. It's been okay. I'm here. I feel much better. But anyway, I didn't get to film, and instead of me being like irritated about it and all that, I wound up still being productive. I went to, so on my to-do app that I use, Todoist, I separate all my lists out into sections. And so like, it's hard to explain, and I'm gonna do videos on it in the future, but I basically have lists for different aspects of my life. And so I've got personal and family and yada, yada, yada. And they're all tasks for those areas of my life. But within those lists, I actually separate it out a little bit more to where I've got tasks for things I need to be doing right now in this current, you know, point in time. I've got things that, all right, once I finish those things that are in my now list, the things that are in my next area, those will get pushed to now. But like the very bottom, I've got one called later. So each list has, oh my God, my camera died on me. It means I need to stop talking. This is what I was dealing with 2 weeks ago. But essentially I just dived into like tasks that I put on my like later list. They're not important, but they're things that I want to do at some point in time. And so I wound up tackling this long project that I told myself I was going to do a year ago. And I like slowly like was doing it here and there. And so there was already some progress on it, but I wound up knocking it out. And like there's a few things that I still need to do related to it. But like the huge chunk of it was done. Like I wanted to have my old band's music put onto streaming services, and like a lot of it was mainly just for nostalgic purposes, because I wanted to put every single thing out there, and like it was like some of the very first stuff that I wrote, like when I was 16, 17. Like some of those songs are super old, and really, really bad, and they were recorded terribly. But I wanted it out there. Like my old band members were asking for it. We had a few friends asking like if they could have a CD, but we don't have any more. And so it was just kind of like piling on me, and I was able to get that done because I gave myself the permission to not be upset that I was not going to film a YouTube video, but rather tackle this project that meant something to me, but also was like, you know, Anthony, you could talk about that in a YouTube video in the future. And so I'm trying to relate all that into what I'm doing right now. And last realization, hopefully my camera doesn't restart again, but lastly was I was realizing that, so before this, I was doing a podcast for a little while. I'm not doing it anymore. I did have a moment this morning where I was like, what if I turned some of these videos into podcast episodes just like got the audio, but then I was like, now Anthony, stop right there. And so I stopped myself, but I realized like what I'm doing right now is essentially like a podcast episode. I'm just sitting down and talking. It's just that I need to get used to talking to the camera, and after figuring out the lens situation and having it make me realize I'm feeling much more comfortable, I was like, okay, it's kind of like a podcast, and it kind of gave me a little more weight off my shoulders. Yeah, that's kind of a bit of my update on this whole transitioning into YouTube journey. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's still a little nerve-wracking, to be completely honest. But I've gotten some really, really nice DMs on Instagram from friends and just people in general who follow me. Like, I got this one DM from somebody, and it was a really long message, and like I got a little choked up reading it, because they were just talking about how they loved how I was being authentic to myself and all that, and still staying vulnerable and that sort of thing. And so it felt really nice. And so yeah, I'm excited about this whole journey that I'm on, and excited to still take y'all with me. So that's the update. It feels weird sharing all this, but that's the update with me. And I'll go ahead and stop rambling. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I'll try and chop this up as much as possible. But thanks for watching. If you've subscribed, thank you for subscribing. If you do have ideas for future videos, whether it's on productivity related things or just anything that I've talked about in this video and you want me to talk about it a little more, let me know. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.